I'm a 27-year-old woman, married to Bruno, who's 29, for just over a year. My parents gifted me a breathtaking wedding gown, valued at around $8,000, for our special day. It was a custom-made piece with intricate lace, tailored perfectly to me, and included fabric from my mother's and grandmother's dresses for sentimental value. This dress meant the world to me, and I planned to cherish it forever, possibly passing it down to future generations. After the wedding, I carefully stored it in a garment bag in the closet of our guest bedroom. Bruno's younger sister, Iris, is 19 and in her first year of college, living on campus nearby. We're close to her, as Bruno played a big role in raising her due to their 10-year age gap. He even set up a $50,000 fund to cover her education, which he manages, as their parents aren't financially well off. Iris is a lively young woman, but she can be reckless and a bit entitled, being the youngest in the family. She's had minor mishaps before, like small car accidents or losing items, but her family always brushes them off. I never imagined she'd cross a line like she did. Last weekend was Halloween, and while Bruno and I stayed home for a quiet evening, Iris planned a big costume party with her college friends, followed by bar hopping. Unbeknownst to us, she stopped by our house earlier that day. She has a spare key for emergencies and sometimes stays over since we're close to her campus. We weren't home, I was likely at the store, and Bruno was at work. Iris later confessed she came over to look for costume pieces. She found the garment bag with my wedding dress in the guest room closet and assumed it was just an old outfit I wouldn't miss. She decided it would make a perfect angel costume for her night out and took my $8,000 custom gown without asking. I didn't realize what happened until the next morning. While putting away laundry, I noticed the garment bag was unzipped and empty. Panic set in. I tore through the house, hoping. Unbeknownst to us, she stopped by our house earlier that day. She has a spare key for emergencies and sometimes stays over since we're close to her campus. We weren't home, I was likely at the store, and Bruno was at work. Iris later confessed she came over to look for costume pieces. She found the garment bag with my wedding dress in the guest room closet and assumed it was just an old outfit I wouldn't miss. She decided it would make a perfect angel costume for her night out and took my $8,000 custom gown without asking. I didn't realize what happened until the next morning. While putting away laundry, I noticed the garment bag was unzipped and empty. Panic set in. I tore through the house, hoping I'd misplaced it, but deep down, I knew I hadn't. My stomach churned as I called Bruno, asking if he'd moved the dress. He was as confused as I was and said no. My mind immediately went to Iris, since she's the only other person with a key. I called and texted her, but she didn't respond. I even tried my mother-in-law, who didn't pick up either. Furious, I drove to Iris's dorm, but her roommate said she wasn't there. Hours later, Iris finally called me back, sounding oddly cheerful. When I asked if she'd been to our house and taken a white dress from the closet, she casually admitted, "Oh yeah, I borrowed that white dress in the bag. Hope that's okay. It was just sitting there, and I needed something for my costume." I was livid. "You mean my wedding dress?" I shouted. "That was my wedding dress, Iris." She paused, then claimed she thought it was just an old outfit and didn't know it was that dress. Her apology was half-hearted, like, "Sorry, I didn't think it was a big deal." I was shaking with anger, telling her it was completely unacceptable to take anything from our home, especially something so precious. She texted that she'd bring it back later, but I couldn't wait calmly. I called Bruno, who was equally furious and left work early. When Iris showed up that even, she handed me my wedding dress stuffed in a plastic shopping bag, soaked and crumpled. It was a disaster, covered in red wine or cocktail stains, torn at the hem, and reeking of alcohol. I broke down in tears as she pulled it out. It looked like a crime scene on white silk. I lost it, sobbing and yelling, asking how she could do this. Bruno went quiet, his face dark with anger. Iris started crying, saying it was an accident. She claimed a drunk woman at the bar spilled a drink on her and the tears happened when the dress caught on something. She kept insisting she didn't know it was my wedding dress, just some random outfit. I didn't buy it. The dress screams bridal gown with its intricate design. How could she think it was a cheap costume? As we pressed her, her apologies turned defensive. She snapped, "How was I supposed to know? It was just in the closet like any other dress. I didn't mean to ruin it." I shot back that anyone could see it wasn't a party costume, and even if it was, she had no right to take it. She called me dramatic, saying, "It's just a dress." I told her it wasn't just a dress, it was my wedding gown, a gift from my parents, and irreplaceable. Bruno finally spoke, telling her to leave. As she walked out, I shouted that she owed me $8,000 for the dress. She yelled back that she didn't have that kind of money and I was unreasonable to expect a 19-year-old to pay it. I snapped, "Then figure it out," and slammed the door. Not my finest moment, but I was heartbroken. That night, Bruno and I sat with the ruined dress, devastated. I cried while he comforted me, though I could see his own anger and pain. The dress was a symbol of our wedding and my family's love. Bruno, who's usually calm and generous with Iris, was so furious he said, "I'm not spending another cent on her until she fixes this." I didn't suggest anything about her college fund, that was all him. The next day, my mother-in-law called after seeing my missed call and hearing Iris's side. She started sympathetically, asking if I was okay and what happened. I explained the dress's condition and our anger. She apologized but quickly defended Iris, saying, "She's so sorry. She's young and didn't know it was your wedding dress. It was a silly mistake." I told her it was a massive breach of trust, and the dress needed to be paid for or replaced. She got defensive, saying, "Your parents bought it, so it's not like you paid $8,000, as if that mattered. The dress held emotional value." She even said, "You can't wear it again anyway, dear." That set me off. I snapped that I didn't plan to wear it, but it was mine to keep pristine, and my parents would be heartbroken. I haven't even told them yet, it's too painful. Mother-in-law then said Iris was terrified because Bruno was so upset and might cut her college fund. Apparently, Iris ran to her parents, claiming we hated her and Bruno was trying to ruin her life over a mistake. I told my mother-in-law I supported Bruno's decision. If he felt this was the right consequence until Iris took responsibility, I agreed. It might be the only way to make her understand. Mother-in-law got upset, saying I was heartless and willing to destroy a young girl's future over a mistake. She insisted Iris didn't mean to ruin the dress and we should forgive her as family. I replied that forgiveness doesn't erase consequences. If anyone, family or not, destroys something valuable through carelessness, they need to make it right. I pointed out that Iris hadn't offered anything beyond apologies, no plan to pay or make amends, just tears and excuses. Mother-in-law asked, "Where's she going to get that money? She's a student." I said, "That's her problem. Maybe you and Phil can help, or she can take a loan." The call ended with her calling me unfair and saying she'd talk to Bruno. He's fully on my side and just as angry. He told his parents he's freezing Iris's college fund until she resolves this, either by paying for the dress or agreeing on a solution. The $50,000 isn't legally hers, it's in an account in Bruno's name, saved for her education. He's paid her current semester but won't cover the next one unless this is addressed. Now the whole family is in chaos. Iris keeps texting me, begging us not to take her education away and apologizing repeatedly, but she also called me cruel for letting Bruno do this. My mother-in-law, an aunt, and others say we're too harsh, and I'm the jerk for valuing a dress over Iris's future. One aunt even said I'm ruining my relationship with Iris over a piece of clothing. This drama is weighing on me. I feel guilty that Bruno's fighting with his family over my dress, but I'm still furious about what Iris did. I believe people learn from consequences, and we've given her a path to make it right, but she's just upset it's hard. If it were my call, I'd accept a few $100s for professional cleaning, a sincere apology, and maybe some community service to teach her responsibility. But Bruno insists we hold firm until she truly understands, which to him means paying the full amount or losing the fund. Am I wrong for being so hurt and not letting this go? Update 1. Thank you for all the responses. I've been reading your comments, which have been both reassuring and tough to process. The consensus seems to be that I'm not the jerk, which helps, as my in-laws had me second-guessing myself. A lot has happened since my original post, so here's an update, plus answers to common questions. Why was the dress in the guest closet? How did Iris not know it was my wedding dress? I stored the dress in the guest room closet because our master closet is tiny, and I didn't want the bulky garment bag in Bruno's way. I also hoped to keep it tucked away for a surprise, like wearing it for an anniversary shoot. The guest closet seemed safe. The dress was in a proper bridal garment bag, not presented as a costume. Iris claims she didn't realize it was my wedding dress until she got to her dorm and didn't fully inspect it. My name is sewn inside, so I'm skeptical, but that's her story. Did Iris have permission to enter our home and take things? She has a key for emergencies or to study at our place, and we've always been okay with her dropping by, but she usually asks first. This time, she didn't ask or tell us she was coming, and she had no permission to take any clothes, let alone my dress. She's borrowed small items like a top or earrings before, but always with my okay. This was completely out of line. What's the deal with the $50,000 college fund? The money is entirely Bruno's, saved from his high-paying job to help Iris, as their parents struggle financially. It's not a trust fund or legally hers, just his savings in an account under his name, earmarked for her tuition. He pays her fees each semester directly. Their parents don't contribute to tuition, though they help with some living expenses. Bruno can legally withhold the funds, as it's his money. Have I told my parents, who bought the dress? After reading advice, I decided not to tell them everything until I know if the dress can be saved. My mom would be devastated. I've told her it was damaged and we're working on repairs, downplaying it to avoid upsetting them. If we need to pursue compensation, I'll tell them the full truth. For now, Bruno and I are handling it. Can the dress be saved or cleaned? We took it to a reputable wedding dress cleaner the day after the incident. They warned that red wine on delicate fabric, especially after setting, is a nightmare. They're still working on it, but it's not looking good. Even if the stains fade, the fabric is weakened, and the torn chiffon and tulle layers are hard to restore perfectly. We're waiting for their final report. At best, it might be wearable but with visible stains and repairs. At worst, it's ruined. Either way, it'll never be the same. Family meeting update. 2 days after the incident, and a day after my post, we went to my in-laws for a serious talk at their invitation. They wanted to resolve things face-to-face. Mother-in-law, father-in-law Phil, and Iris, who came home from college, were there. Iris looked like she'd been crying and avoided eye contact. Mother-in-law started by saying, "We're family, let's stay calm and work this out with love." Bruno replied, "I'll stay calm if I hear real accountability for what happened." He asked Iris directly what she was thinking, taking a dress from our home without asking. She sniffled, "I thought it was a costume. I didn't know it was a big deal." I interjected that it was a huge deal. Taking anything without permission is disrespectful, let alone my wedding dress. She mumbled, "I'm sorry, but it felt insincere." Bruno pressed her, saying she should have known better, as she was at our wedding and saw the dress. Mother-in-law cut in, "She gets it, Bruno. She's sorry. Let's move on." I said moving on means making it right, not just apologizing. The dress's damage is a big deal, and I haven't even told my mom because it's so upsetting. Phil, who'd been quiet, asked, "What do you want to happen?" I said the dress's cost should be covered or a replacement found. I'd consider a partial payment, like half now and half later, but there needs to be effort. Iris cried when she heard the $8,000 price, and mother-in-law looked stressed. She said, "She's a student. How can she pay that?" Bruno replied, "Maybe get a job, a loan, or you help her. That's not our job to solve. Actions have consequences." Mother-in-law pleaded, "We can't afford $8,000 either. Can't we find a less extreme solution?" She offered to pay for cleaning and a bit extra for your trouble. I said that wouldn't cut it. A few $100s doesn't fix an irreplaceable dress. If it can't be restored, we'd need to discuss replacement or full compensation. Iris sobbed, "I don't have that money. If I knew it was your wedding dress, I wouldn't have touched it. Now I'll lose my college fund. It's not fair." Bruno snapped, "Fair? You're worried about your fund when you hurt someone and ruined something precious? You think my wife should just eat the loss." He compared it to someone crashing her car and walking away with just a sorry. Phil admitted he understood but said pulling the fund would hurt Bruno too, as it could force Iris to drop out or take loans. Bruno countered, "I want her to take responsibility. If she chooses to drop out instead of working or borrowing to fix this, that's on her. She's an adult." We were at an impasse after an hour of arguing. I suggested we all take a few days to cool off and explore options, like finding a similar dress secondhand to lower the cost. I also offered a payment plan or Iris working for my small business to cover part of it. but I stressed we need assurance they'll address the financial damage. Mother-in-law asked Bruno not to act rashly with the fund, as Iris needs to register for next semester soon. He said it depends on Iris showing a real plan to make amends. We left, exhausted and upset, with no resolution. Iris texted me an apology afterward, sounding coached. She said she was sorry for taking and ruining something so important and that she'd do anything to keep her education funding. I haven't replied yet, as I'm still too angry. Update 2, 1 week later. Thank you for the continued support and advice. Things got worse before possibly getting better, and we got bad news about the dress. The cleaner did their best, but the dress is ruined. The red stains are lighter but still visible, leaving pinkish-brown marks. The fabric shrank and warped from being wet too long, and while the tears can be mended, it'll never look pristine. The cleaner said further attempts could destroy the fabric more. I cried picking it up, and the shop owner was kind, noting red wine is a common wedding dress killer. They gave us a letter confirming the damage is permanent, which could help if we pursue legal action or an insurance claim. After the family meeting, my in-laws went quiet for a few days, likely discussing things. Bruno and I tried to have a calm weekend, even going hiking to clear our heads. But on Monday, drama erupted. Iris shared a skewed version of the story with friends and cousins, which spread on social media. I noticed odd messages from my friends, who saw posts. Someone, likely Iris or a friend, posted on Instagram, "When your brother chooses to ruin your education over a mistake. Family can be ruthless." It didn't mention the dress but was clearly about us. I was furious she left out that she stole and destroyed something irreplaceable. It felt like she was playing the victim. Her post got traction. A cousin said, "That's harsh, you don't deserve this," and a friend commented, "If my sister did that, I'd cut her off." Bruno, who avoids social media drama, commented, "Funny how you skipped the part where you stole and ruined something priceless. Actions have consequences, Iris." She deleted his comment and blocked us both. Then family members, like an aunt and his grandmother, called Bruno, confused by rumors he was forcing Iris to drop out. He explained the full story, and they were shocked at Iris's actions. The aunt, who'd criticized me before, and his grandmother apologized, saying they didn't know the details and supported consequences. They likely told Iris to stop posting, as her vague posts disappeared. But the drama made this feel like a full-blown family feud, which I never wanted.
Monday evening, mother-in-law call Bruno, with me listening.
She sounded exhausted and emotional, saying they discussed it and could try to scrape together $4,000 over time to help cover the dress, but not $8,000. She asked if that would be enough to release Iris's college fund. I said $4,000 was a start but wouldn't cover a comparable replacement. I'd consider it if Iris contributed something herself, money or a commitment to pay the rest over time, plus a genuine apology. Bruno agreed, saying he'd release most of the fund with conditions if they followed through. He stressed this wasn't about putting a price on it, but teaching Iris accountability. Mother-in-law said they'd expect Iris to repay them for whatever they fronted. We asked for a written plan with a payment timeline and Iris's contribution. It felt formal, but we wanted clarity after all the back and forth. Bruno said if they deliver, he'll unfreeze the fund for next semester. Mother-in-law seemed relieved we weren't demanding $8,000 upfront. An hour later, Iris emailed me a heartfelt apology, admitting fault for taking the dress, ruining it, and seeking sympathy online. She said she feels awful, is having panic attacks about her future, and wants to make it right to keep our support. We're holding firm until we see their plan. The ball's in their court, and we'll see what they propose.